This is a presentation of WCTV, all volunteer community access television from the Township of Washington.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Exit 168. I'm Larry LaFury. We're here with WCTV, the all-volunteer access group from the Township of Westwood and Washington Township. And tonight we have the Westwood High School History Club joining us today, along with their teacher here, Steve Mensch. He's saying hello to all of you. And these young people who are very happy and energetic and enthusiastic and energized were involved in I guess, a history bowl.
Absolutely, yes. We did, it was the National History Bowl, so the competition is kind of a year-long evolution with competitions, and then they qualified to go to Washington, D.C. for the national championships.
Okay, let's back up a little bit and just give some idea of how you got there. How did you get started in applying for and then getting involved in this bowl?
Last year, I'd say about 7 of you, maybe 6 of you, walked into my classroom and said, Mr. Mensch, we hear that you're interested in doing a history club. We want to start one. And I said, okay. And that's how it started. And about a month later, we did our first competition, I think at Seton Hall. I think it's Seton Hall University. We went to our first competition. Then we competed at Ridgewood High School. And then after that, we competed in Princeton, where we qualified for the national championships.
Now, when you went to Ridgewood and you went to Seton Hall, that was a competition. You had to win to keep moving on. It's like almost like a playoff series where you got to keep winning.
You have to qualify once. Once you've qualified, you did not have to keep playing in competitions to qualify. But once the team is qualified, then you're golden. You go.
Okay, so now you go to Washington. How many schools do you know were represented in Washington?
In Washington, D.C., there were, I believe, 400 teams, and each team consists of anywhere from 3 to 5 students. So there's well over 1,000 high school students from around the United States at the competition.
And how long does this competition last once you get to Washington with all these teams?
It's a 3-day competition. So one day would be devoted to maybe some of the individual tournaments, whether it was like a U.S. History B or sports and like a sports-themed B. There was also the U.S. Geography Olympiad. So there's some individual tournaments where you compete one-on-one, and then the team competitions is one day from basically 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night.
Now, you were telling me before the show that this is a JV team because they're the 9th and 10th grade.
Correct. Right. So the History Bowl competitions are divided into JV and varsity, and the JV is anyone that's under their junior year in high school. So no junior or senior can play on the JV level. However, the younger students can play on the varsity level if they so choose.
Or you can move up. So
you can move up, but if you're that smart, you might as well win it at the younger level.
That's not bad at all. What I'd like to do now is we'll start in the back because they have the microphones. What I'd like you to do is We'll start with you.
Okay.
Look in that camera over there. Give us your name. We know, and what grades? Freshman or sophomore? Okay. Here we go. Look at Alicia there.
Okay, I'm Jamie Carenzo, and I'm in 10th grade.
Okay. Pass the microphone down. Each one of you are going to get on. Go ahead.
I'm Monica Karthikeyan, and I'm a sophomore.
Go ahead. Move it down this way.
I'm Mary Bashara, and I'm a freshman.
All right.
I'm Tommy Tedesco, and I'm a 10th grader.
I'm Simran Singh, and I'm a sophomore.
Okay. Look at that camera right there. Okay.
I'm Ina Trigubchuk, and I'm in 10th grade.
You go.
I'm Eric Kopp, and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm Larry LaFleur, and forget about it. Go ahead.
My name is Steve Minch, and I'm the coach and also a world history teacher at the high school.
I'm Rebecca Brandon, and I'm in 10th grade.
All right, now we got to know all of you. Let me ask you, before we get to them and ask them some of the questions I've really been formulating all day for you. They're looking at me like, no. How did you prepare?
Oh, how did I?
No, how did you
the team prepare?
Yeah, how did the team? Well, you, the team. First of all, how did you prepare? Then we get to the team.
Well, in terms of preparation, it's just practice. We would use the buzzer system right here. And by the way, for all of you people at home, we're going to compete. And we're going to show you how this is done. You can play at home. You can use the imaginary buzzer if you'd like. But if you get the wrong answer, you get an electric shock. So we'll show you. We can show you how the buzzer system works. But usually, it's just practice questions, and over and over and over again, we have fun with it and compete against each other. And that's how we would compete as a club in practice. But I'm sure maybe some of them have individual.
Well, we're going to ask them.
Push-ups, a lot of push-ups.
All right, so let's start. We go again. Who has the microphone? We'll start with you and work this way. Any specific way that you prepared for the bowl? And that's going to be your question for all of you, so I don't have to ask it 9 times to hear my voice. Go ahead.
We all go to practices about twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. We all meet together and we do a set together and just have fun with it. So we use the buzzers and try to answer as many questions as we can. We usually split up into 2 teams and we just have fun with it. We don't get too competitive, but we get competitive to a certain extent where we don't get mad at each other. It's just for fun.
How long have you liked history? Since early times, recently?
Early times.
Early times. Is there a specific part of America? Is there a specific part of history that you like?
I like Asian history.
Asian history. Okay, that's very, very good. All right, you want to pass it down, and the same thing with you. How did you get ready for this, and how long have you been involved with history?
Well, to prepare for the competitions, it's mainly just paying attention in history class and keeping up to date with with history in general. Just making sure you're reading whatever you can, reading articles, just keeping up to date with your homework, that kind of thing. I've been interested in history for a while, but I don't know.
Okay, fine. Did they ever ask you a question at the bowl that you practiced in school? They never asked you who the first president of the United States is, but
we usually practice with practice questions that were from years past.
Right.
So we don't really get repeats of the
there's
competitions.
one thing about history: you never run out of questions. Never. Go ahead, pass it down. Same question with you. And how did you get involved? Look at that camera right there. And how did you prepare for this big bowl?
Well, as they said before, I also just went to practices and paid attention in history class. And I guess I've kind of liked history since middle school.
Do you have I meant to ask, but do you have a special part of history that you like, that interests you?
I really liked European history, especially the Renaissance.
Okay, very good, very good. Same question, your preparation. I guess you might have done the same thing. You did anything different? And look at this camera right here. Alicia's raising your hand. There you go.
Well, it's what you learn in history class, and also sometimes you'll read an article and you'll be like, I'm never going to use this again. But then you get there and there's a question about that, and you're like, oh wait, I do know about this. And then for how long I've been interested in history, it's been for a while. I've always been interested in art and literature, but through school and stuff, it was more European history.
European history.
Yeah.
That's a lot of history, European history. Go ahead.
I usually get prepared just by going to practices and looking at practice questions online at home. And of course, getting a good night's sleep, so that's very important. I first got involved in history when I was in kindergarten because I memorized all of the presidents. And
You still know all the presidents?
I do.
From Washington to Obama?
Yes.
You can name them all.
Yeah.
How about the vice presidents?
No.
No, okay, I'm just asking.
My favorite part of history is probably like American history, I would say.
Okay, very good. All right, we'll start with you. Look at that camera right there with Mr. Nick. Yeah, how did you prepare other than getting a good night's sleep and a good breakfast and a good dinner? And
I actually bought a bunch of books from the library when they were doing a book sale, and a lot of them were about topics that I didn't know. Like, I had a book that I read about the Ottomans and just a lot of different things. And so I just read the books.
any part of history that you like more than others?
I like French history a lot, particularly the French Revolution.
Oh, yeah. Robespierre and those guys running around, right? Yeah. That's all I know. Don't ask me more questions. Go ahead.
I usually study just by reading Wikipedia articles and just watching the news because there's a lot of current events questions on the history book sets. I've been involved in history ever since, for as long as I can remember, honestly. I've always loved it. And the earliest memory I have of it really is in around 5th grade when we did the Explorers project, and we all had to dress up as explorers.
Oh, that's great. And do you have a special part of history that you like, that you concentrated on when you were studying and now here?
Well, yeah. Certainly in college, yeah. My favorite time period was the Progressive era and Theodore Roosevelt, one of my one of my political heroes, Teddy Roosevelt. But I'd say my specialty is more Cold War, World War II, sort of, but mostly Cold War, Berlin Wall type of stuff.
Okay.
To prepare, we like the same thing as everyone else. We practice, we pay attention in history class, we do our homework. We look at current events articles and we'll read books and all that. So it's a team effort and an individual effort to prepare.
Very good, very good. Now, Mr. Mitch said that Teddy Roosevelt is his favorite. Now, since he's your teacher, do you know how Teddy Roosevelt came into office?
I think I know.
Well, go ahead. You would know because you know all the presidents.
I'm not sure if I'm correct.
Well, that's okay.
I think it was after the assassination
You got it.
of William McKinley.
Very good. That's excellent. That's very excellent. McKinley was killed, and he was shot, and Teddy Roosevelt became president. You know why Teddy Roosevelt was vice president?
No, I don't.
They wanted the Republican Party wanted to get rid of him. They didn't know where to do with him, so they figured make him vice president. What damage could he be as vice president? And McKinley was shot. So you see, that's all I know about Roosevelt. You have to go to your teacher. Now, what was some of the? Let's go doing your bowl. What was the toughest question you had that you could remember?
That I can remember?
Oh my God, that was a tough question. Because there are times, there are questions you know the answer and you say, boy, that's a tough question. I know the answer, but that's a tough question.
Probably one asking about the Bolivian president because I had no idea who he was.
The who?
Bolivian president.
The Bolivian president?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a tough one. How about you? What question maybe?
I think it's questions about composers, like people who, musical pieces. And at the end, I guess to some people it'll be pretty obvious because they start naming pieces that they wrote, but I'm just not that familiar with any of them.
That's music. That's not history.
Well,
what are they throwing music in for? You're not at the music bowl. Object.
Yeah. They have science questions too, and sometimes those are tricky in the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, they'll talk about this particle was discovered in 1947 by this person or something like that.
Like I said, you could never run out of questions in history.
Yeah.
They throw stuff at you. Anything you could remember that might have thrown you or said? Oh, you got all the answers, huh?
Or the topic that's the hardest.
What topics?
Yeah. Well, there's one part of the question sets where it's a speed round and you have a category that you could choose from. So sometimes you'll think a category is really easy, but then you just can't remember any of the answers.
That can be very difficult. I bet you nobody threw you on the presidents, right?
Yeah.
You were right on top of it. Any question other than the presidency where you didn't get thrown?
There were some from like world history, and it was just a name that I knew, but I couldn't think of it at the time. So I'd say those types of questions.
Wow. How about we go give it a mic, we'll pass it down. Well, that's the same question all the way around.
Well, there were just like some questions that asked about the names of world leaders that I've never heard of before, and then someone on the other team would buzz in after like the first 2 sentences and know the answer, and I'd be like, I've never heard of this person before in my life.
That is extremely difficult. World leaders to, who's the president of Germany, who's the president of France, you might be able to get that. But if you go, who's the president of Bolivia? All right, go ahead. Next.
Honestly, there were a lot of difficult questions, and at one point I just started to guess random things.
I'm sure there wasn't an easy question. I mean, they didn't ask you who the first president was, but very difficult questions. All right, move it down. Tough question.
Which camera am I on?
Yeah, what camera? I don't know. There we go, Nick, over there.
All right.
Boy, you know your TV, huh? Wait for your spot.
Nowhere to look. I'd say the hardest questions are any of the questions about current events. They don't really cover those in history classes. It's where I get most of my history knowledge. And there's always the speed round questions that are just titled like 1962, and it could be about anything in 1962. And I know nothing about that year, so I don't choose that one.
Well, I know a lot about that because I was running around then. I was your age in 1962.
Yeah, well, you never know how obscure what the things they're going to ask you are.
What question would they ask you in 1962?
I don't even know.
No, yeah, that's a tough question. That's kind of
That's why I don't pick it.
I'm trying to think what happened in '62. I don't know. I was in high school. Go ahead.
Anything about a certain type, like a certain person, is always really difficult for me. Like in the speed round, sometimes they'll just have one person who all the questions are about, and if you don't know who that person is, then it's really hard.
Now, Mr. Minch has some questions, I think, in his pocket, and
Yes.
do they know the answers? Have you gone over the questions with them?
No.
Okay. He's going to ask questions, and we're going to see who can get the answer first. And all of you can play, so raise your hand. No, you too, Fred. All right, go ahead.
That's true, because if the microphones can pick up the audience here and the camera crew, by all means, shout out the answer.
shout out
But for those of you at home, if you don't know the answer, do not throw food at the TV.
That's it, yeah.
It's different than Jeopardy, so the questions are a little bit longer than they are in Jeopardy, and they're difficult too. Some of them are very complicated, and you'll understand why. So it's hard to say like what questions from 1962. So here's a few. Anyway, I'll try to read these as best I can. So we've got at least 3 of them. Anyway,
You want one of these?
all right. No, you can buzz in. Absolutely. All right.
They're waiting for me to make mistakes here. They're begging for me to blow this open.
Okay, here we go. Ready? All right. This man is accurately depicted leading a mob that tars and feathers a British official in John Adams' miniseries. He precedes Samuel Adams as the...
John Hancock.
John Hancock is correct.
Very good.
All right. Okay. So he buzzes in. I clear the buzzer. 10 points for him. And then...
Show off.
All right. Then audience can clap.
You can clap.
All right.
You cheer when I do it.
Next question.
Go ahead.
You ready, Larry?
I'm ready.
This one you should know.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'm just saying. No. Okay. Andreas Bader and Ulrike Meinhof co-founded a terrorist organization with this adjective in its name that killed American soldiers stationed in West Germany. Another group with this adjective in its name kidnapped and murdered Italian Prime Minister Aldo Moro. An army of this color invaded Poland from the east.
Red?
Red! Give him a round of applause.
I'm clapping for him.
All right.
Good job.
Okay. Oh, there's always a question on this. Okay. These people are the antagonists of Martin Sherman's play Bent, and spy Howard Campbell is put on trial for being one of these people in Kurt Vonnegut's Mother Night. The consequences of these people's rise and fall provide the second half of the novel The Tin Drum, and a factory owner attempting to sabotage these people is the protagonist of Schindler's List.
The Nazis?
The Nazis.
Very good.
Let's see. I'll pick a different one that I didn't read before. Okay, here we go. All right. In a film set during this war, a man is rejected from joining an army because he is, see, there's a grammatical error. Remember, kids, always proofread before you post something because when there's grammatical errors, it makes a difference. All right, so I think it's supposed to be because he, I'll read a different one.
Yeah, read a different one.
Okay.
Easy.
A politician from this city reorganized its 4 traditional tribes into 10 new files or phylus and increased the size of its ruling council by 100. Later reforms in this city moved judicial power to the Boule from its original court, the Areopagus. For the point, name the city where harsh laws instituted by Draco were eventually reformed by Cleisthenes.
Athens?
Athens. Athens is correct.
Never heard of it.
That's a. Yeah, that's.
I was asleep that day. Go ahead, give us another one.
Oh, I'll give you another one. All right. Oh, clear it. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah,
Here we
clear
go.
it.
Oh, beauty. Love this one. All right. In this state, a gangster raid on the FBI to free Frank Nash resulted in the Union Station massacre. This state was home to Tom Pendergast's political machine. No one? All right. Which helped.
Albany?
Nope, which helped Harry Truman early in his career. Mormons were subject to an extermination order in this state, which caused a bell in the night when it was admitted to the Union. What? Did someone get it?
Who got it? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Is it the mic or? Oh.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Pass it down.
Missouri.
Missouri is correct. All right.
Did it Harry Truman
10
get it for
points.
you? When he said Harry Truman, you got Missouri, right? You know your American history.
Okay. All right. So now Mary should get this one because she was in my class last year. So let's just. All right. So let's. All right. Well, we're going to test. Rulers with this title allowed subjects to worship gods other than their own sky god Tengri. Meetings called.
Khan?
Khan, yes. All right. Thank you, Mary. All right. That's fine.
You've changed all of a sudden.
And just to give you an example, too, of the types of questions that are not directly history related, I'll read one more. All right, the first of 2 themes representing Till Eulenspiegel, or Eulenspiegel, is played by this instrument. Prominent Viennese musician Josef Leutgeb played this instrument and debuted 4 concertos for it by Mozart. This instrument developed from a simpler device used in hunting.
Is it the French horn?
It is the French horn.
There you go.
All right. And that was Monica that got that question. She's
Very
contributed
good.
very good.
Excellent.
So at everything, and so every now and then questions come up from modern or current events. And I think at the Nationals, if I'm not mistaken, there was at least 1 or 2 questions from something that had happened that day or the day before.
Yeah. There
So.
was-
I have a comment.
You got a comment on it?
Oh,
Yeah, go
great.
ahead, comment.
There is one question about something Donald Trump did 2 days prior to the competition. I remember that one really clearly.
They're going to give it to you 2 minutes before the competition. But you enjoyed it, huh? You enjoyed this competition? Go ahead, you want to say something?
Yeah, there was also like a question on the Panama Papers that literally happened like the week before the competition. So that was pretty cool.
Wow, okay.
Also, they had
It's
some.
amazing. These are very difficult questions. Anybody else wants to talk back there? Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Mary.
Go ahead.
There was also something that's like not like political related or economic. There was something about like a play called Annie. So yeah.
On the day of Queen Elizabeth's birthday, they had an entire lightning round about her life.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
A lightning round on her life.
Yeah.
And, well, do you want to explain the lightning round?
Go ahead.
Oh, you get 30 seconds? 60, I'm
60.
sorry. You get 60 seconds, and they ask you a series of 8 questions. And there's a lead-in, and then they all have to do with that one subject. And then you have 60 seconds to answer all 8. And if you don't, the other team gets to answer the other ones.
So now you all are going to come back next year. School's almost over, and you're going to be in this history club again, and you're going to go to the nationals as. I guess you're going to go. All of you are going to go as. Well, not all of them. Most of them will go as varsity.
I think so, yeah, because you're going to be juniors.
So you'll
Oh
all
my
go.
God,
And you'll
juniors.
be in the. Now, are the questions more difficult?
No, same questions.
And will they have the same genre? They will encompass the same areas that you, like you read today. They won't
Right.
change too much, will they?
Same questions, except the difference usually on the varsity level is that after the reader says, "What was the?" Usually the varsity players have already answered the question, whereas you got to read the whole question for the JV. So usually the varsity answers much faster.
They're that sharp. Now you've
very
brought
good,
you
yes.
you have brought in a little thumb drive with some of the pictures
Yeah.
and that you took on the way to Washington and his
From
bowl.
different competitions,
From
actually.
different competitions, and we're going to see. So you just take over now and explain what you see.
Guys, remember that one? All right, that was our very first competition at Seton Hall University last in November of the year before, and we had a great time. You can tell we were having fun there. So that was our very first. And there's another one from that same competition. That was our core group. Though these are the originators of the history club. Many of them anyway. I had to throw that one in, Manasa, because that was the sketch before the. I mean, if you want to get a shot of the shirt, our shirts kind of have a similar design, but Manasa actually did that design in. Was it in Seton Hall? Or? It was Princeton. Maybe it was Princeton. It was in Princeton University, and she did that on a whiteboard and probably left it there for the Princeton students. But there it is, and it looks pretty similar to what we have. So congratulations to Manasa for designing the shirt. There's another action photo. All right. That was in the lounge, probably at the same competition.
These must all be at Seton, then.
Yeah, that was at Seton Hall. Now, this is our first national championship, and this one was in Washington, D.C. last year. And that was our core group of our JV team, and we also had one 8th grade team as well. And, of course, we had to get the name shots. All of the shirts that we're wearing have our names on the back, or most of them anyway, and so they got that. That's my 8th grade team. Yes, folks, 8th graders can compete, and they did incredibly well. Those 4 gentlemen right there last year took home a plaque, and that's the score sheet to show evidence at Nationals. And there's our group photo in the hotel there in Washington. That's the bus ride going down to Princeton, I believe.
You're also very happy.
Yes, this is my favorite photo. This is on my website as well. This is Princeton of this past year, past November. 32 students from Westwood went to Princeton. And I decided that we needed to get the photo first. So that is actually at 8:30 in the morning before we ran into the competition. Otherwise, I never would have gotten everyone together. But what a great photo that is. And here's some action photos with some of our 8th graders that competed in Princeton. That's Eric there competing in the individual competition where he did quite well. I think you got a plaque out of that,
Yeah,
Eric.
I got 3rd place.
Third place, which is fantastic. That's me on the right. Yes, he's happy. It just happens to be at the time I took the photo. But anyway, that is at
Nationals.
is that at Nationals
Yeah,
also?
that
That's
was
at
the
Nationals.
meeting.
Yep. And there's another group photo in front of the flags. The way that they do this, they have a kind of an Olympic theme at the national championships, and so there's a whole ceremony with flags of all the states that are represented from people around the country. All right, that's another group shot from nationals. We did not win those. But that is what the creme de la creme of these students from around the country are incredibly bright. So the competition to win that is very difficult. And that's going back a year as well with my 8th grade students who are now in 9th grade. This is us practicing in my classroom. Notice the world map on the right. That's a good prop.
How long do you stay after school and practice?
About an hour.
So you say like from about 3:15 to 4:15?
Approximately.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some action photos there. I believe they got the question right at that moment. I think. This is at Princeton this past November. And of course, one of our history club members, a senior, she had to get her Princeton University shirt as well as a souvenir. She's very happy. They are also happy. I thought that would be great on our on an album that we're going to be putting out next year. That's going to be our cover on the LP.
You're putting out an album, yeah?
No, I'm just teasing. But that would be fun. You don't want to hear us sing. We can answer history questions, but we don't sing. I'm not sure if they're sleeping or happy. I can't remember, one of the two.
Maybe both.
And that's also at Princeton, some action photos. Dave Madden on the right is from Ridgewood. He's one of the top Jeopardy champions, and he's the one that started the National History Bee and Bowl, and a personal friend of mine. Hey, Mary, that's you on the left.
That's me.
All right, that's Mary competing with her team. And then back to the beginning,
beginning shot.
with that excitement shot.
Now, do you think, we'll just go very quickly, we'll start out. You think when you graduate and go on to high school, you'll major in some form of history, or you'll move on to something else? I know it's a long way off for most of you, but what do you think?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. That's an easy question.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to pursue history as a career, but I found it really interesting to study in high school, so I might.
I want to pursue something very similar to history. I want to go to political science, maybe law, and maybe even a minor in history, focusing more on European and British history.
Law, political science, law, sure, that works.
I've always wanted to be a teacher, so I've been in between an English or history teacher.
Very nice, very nice. Who has the mic? Okay.
I've always been interested in studying history, but like Ina, I don't think I'd be going into a career that involves that much history, because I want to be a doctor. So.
Okay. Okay, very good.
History is like fun to delve into on the side, but I would never major in it really. I'm more into like science and fields like that.
I also don't want to get into like a history thing. I want to be a doctor.
Okay. We used to have a moot court here. Young people your age would actually put a trial on, and there would be a sitting judge that they would get. Lawyers put together, and we had it downstairs in the courthouse, and they would cross-examine and direct and back and forth. And a lot of times I'd ask them, "Would you like to be? You're going to be a lawyer?" And many of them said, "No, I just enjoy doing this, but I want to go into music. I want to go engineering." So to be involved in a history club doesn't mean you're going to be in history when you get to college. You may take a few courses and electives, but it doesn't mean. I just want to know where your mindset is now. Okay.
I like history as a subject, but I don't think I'd like go into it as a career path because I really want to be a computer animator. So,
There you go.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to know.
I don't think I will pursue history as a career, but hopefully one day I will go into politics and become president. At least go. Yeah.
You won't forget your name.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
That'll be great. Well, I think it's fantastic that you got the experience to go to Washington to compete, to meet other people. That's got to be an experience, just meeting other students from around the country and to compete with them on a very high level. You are very, very high level. And you're going to get better as time goes on. Maybe we right now can invite you to come back next year around this time.
We'll be here.
And you could discuss your bowl that you went to and some of the questions you had and your experiences then. You'll be a year older. Maybe you'll have a little more idea where you want to go. Maybe one of you want to get into TV business like this. Anybody? No? No? Nobody?
It's fun.
Nobody? You want to be president. I know you're going to be president. Hey, when you become president, I come visit you at the White House?
Sure.
Thank you very much. Do I get a nice dinner at the White House?
Yeah.
Oh boy, we gotta go. We gotta go. I want to thank you for coming. You are
pleasure.
outstanding young people. We here in the Westwood Regional School System are very proud of you. We do a lot with the sporting events, but there's an awful lot going on in that high school, like what you're doing and making us all very proud. And what I like here is that all of you seem to be enjoying yourself, and that's most important. Always enjoy what you do, okay? Because you're going to get old like me and forget what you did. No. But enjoy what you're doing and go down there in Washington and have a great time and study very hard. Come back next year and let us know how you did, okay? Thank you.
We will.
Thank you very much. You're doing a wonderful job with them. You should be congratulated. Fine
you.
people like you, great teachers like you, make these people wonderful citizens in the future.
Great students like them
Like them.
make my job easy.
They certainly do, and they make it fun.
Absolutely, I love it.
Okay, so for everyone at WCTV and for our brilliant history people here who went on to big competition and made us all proud, this is Larry Fury for the entire gang here at WCTV. We hope you enjoyed the show. Watch our website. Have a couple of shows coming up in the near future. Will O'Toole, cartoonist for MLB. And at the end of the month, Donna Lucci will be here for her summer, I would say spring, her summer musical. So for everybody, again with WCTV, we have Nick, we have Emily, Ida, Fred, Alicia, who's up from college, Ricky's inside. Anybody else inside? Who? Shane, who's working the board. This is Larry Fury, and say good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Wave goodbye, folks.